Stephanie White once again has the responsibility of bringing success back to the Indiana Fever. After being appointed as the WNBA franchise's head coach last month in her second stint, the Indianapolis native has been entrusted with sparking a period of prosperity for the team headed by Caitlin Clark. The 22-year-old has already established herself as one of the league's superstars after leading the Fever to the playoffs last season for the first time in 6 years. It was a campaign where she became the first player ever to unanimously win the Rookie of the Year award. Team success is the perfect remedy for keeping a franchise star like Clark happy, who could find herself teaming up with college star Aneesa Morrow, who is set to enter the 2025 WNBA draft. A smooth-sailing draft night could see White enjoy a dream start to the much-anticipated sophomore season for the point guard. Entering her second season in the WNBA, Clark will also be on the second year of her 4-year contract with the Fever. Despite a first-round exit in the playoffs last season, the guard has shown no signs of frustration with the lack of postseason success in her debut campaign. Keeping a cornerstone star like Clark for a majority of their career is paramount for any franchise. Due to players being unable to renegotiate their contracts mid-deal, White will hope that the 22-year-old pledges her future to the Fever by signing a new contract at the end of her current deal. Championship ambitions will surely be a priority in Clark's decision to remain with the Fever, as White's experience in title situations could prove vital in securing that she stays put in Indiana. On top of ensuring that Clark remains a Fever player, White would surely be hard at work in attempting to tie down Lexie Mitchell to a new contract. The two-time All-Star was their second leading scorer in the 2024 season, averaging 19.2 points per game. Having entered the 2024 season in a contract year, Mitchell is now testing the free agent market but is expected to return to the Fever, having been made a core player by the franchise, which gives them exclusive negotiating rights for her next contract. Having been with the side since being drafted number 2 overall in the 2018 draft, the 29-year-old has been a consistent scorer since landing in Indiana and is no doubt a vital member of a team that hopes to make a deep run in the playoffs next season. She's extremely important to the success of this, our future, Fever president of basketball operations Kelly Krauskopf said recently. We intend to have lots of conversations and make sure she knows that, but I think she does know that. The LSU star has been in sensational form this season, boasting an unbeaten record of 7-0 so far, as she's averaging 18 PPG and 13 RPG. With the forward expected to enter the 2025 WNBA draft next April, Michael Voepel of ESPN has predicted the Indiana Fever, who hold the number 8 pick, to draft the 22-year-old. A former teammate of Chicago Sky's Angel Reese, Morrow received huge plaudits from her former LSU colleague, who urged the media and the public to give her the praise she deserves. "Me and Niece work hard every single day. I can't do my job without Aneesa," Reese said during her last season with LSU. "So understanding, like, everybody gives me the praise, but you've got to give Aneesa the praise for the things that she does, too. She does a lot of great things that I don't do. So, I just don't want to always get all the praise, like giving Aneesa her props and giving her flowers. She's one of the top guards in the country. I don't want this to always be on me." Possessing a record of 20-20 last season, the Fever by definition were average. However, a Caitlin Clark that is 1 year older and more experienced is certainly a dangerous proposition to face off against. A potential return of Lexie Mitchell coupled with the possibility of Aneesa Morrow joining the franchise gives White an interesting foundation to build a championship squad. White's very own title savviness can't be understated, having enjoyed her own experience in leading the Fever to a finals appearance in 2016, while winning a ring with the franchise in 2012 as an assistant coach gives her priceless knowledge on just what it takes to reach the mountaintop of the sport. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever received their 2025 schedule from the WNBA on Monday. The Fever's season opener is against Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky on Saturday, May 17th, in Indianapolis. Chicago will play Indiana 5 times during the regular season. Clark, a former Iowa women's basketball star, and the Fever will play the WNBA's first-year team, the Golden State Valkyries, for the first time on June 19 in San Francisco. Indiana will host the WNBA All-Star Game in 2025, the first time Indianapolis has held the event. The 21st WNBA All-Star Game will be held on July 19, with a three-point and skills competition on July 18. Clark is scheduled to face off against former Hawkeye teammate Kate Martin 3 times. Martin plays for the Las Vegas Aces, who play Indiana on June 22, July 3, and July 24. WNBA teams will play 44 regular season games in 2025, 4 more than they did in 2024. The Indiana Fever have received a lot of praise for their hiring of former Connecticut Sun coach Stephanie White ever since the move was made in early November. Not only does White have direct ties to the Fever franchise and has already established a strong relationship with star player Caitlin Clark, but the 2 seasons she spent as Connecticut's head coach made it clear that she's one of the brightest minds in the entire women's basketball community. However, White now has a completely different roster with completely different strengths in Indiana compared to what she had in Connecticut. And she explained why this is a good thing for her during a December 1st appearance on the Coaching You podcast, where she said, "One of the downfalls of having a veteran team like we had in Connecticut was we weren't very fast. We didn't play fast very. One of the great things about Indiana is they love to play fast. I want to play with great pace," White continued. "I also want our players to use their instincts and to play free. We want to make plays and not run plays, right? We'll have certain play calls that give us space to operate, and then whichever pass we make determines one of 3 actions that our players can read from." She then added, giving Fever players the freedom to play within a system, to get to the matchups, and really challenging them to find the matchups, the reads, the shots that we want. "And I think that's going to be the next step for our young team. The goal for us is to put them in positions to make plays and allow them to do what they do best," White said. It's no secret that Caitlin Clark was a massive draw during her rookie season in the WNBA. Check any objective metric that can assess attention generated, such as ticket sales, merchandise sold, and TV ratings, to name a few, with Clark compared to without her, and it's clear that she's at another level compared to her peers. This isn't anything new. However, a December 3 article from Dana Hunsinger-Benbow of the Indianapolis Star showcased some new findings from renowned valuation guru in the field of finance Dr. Ryan Brewer, whose expertise is estimating something or someone's worth. That put Clark's impact into an entirely new light. Total TV viewership due to Clark is up 300% and 45% of total broadcast value came from Fever games, Brewer said in the article. The league's merchandise sales catapulted 500%, with Clark ranking number 1 followed by the Chicago Sky's Angel Reese, another rookie. The fact that Clark and the Fever made for nearly 50% of the WNBA's total broadcast value is staggering, to say the least. And that metric is likely to increase as Clark's career progresses. Benbow also added in the article, the most astonishing number of all is Clark's economic impact on the city of Indianapolis, which Brewer says is upwards of $36 million. Not as big as the NBA All-Star Game's $400 million financial boost to the city in February, but a respectable 10% of that. "Now, let's take a breath for a minute and think about this," said Brewer. "That's for 1 year. We're talking about 1 player." Earlier on in the article, Benbow wrote, "One of every 6 tickets sold at a WNBA arena can be attributed to Clark." A new era for the Indiana Fever will begin next May when Caitlin Clark takes the court with coach Stephanie White by her side. After a historic rookie season in the WNBA, Clark is just getting started and could soar to even greater heights with the right guidance and a strong supporting cast. There is perhaps no better mentor figure for the Fever guard than White, who has watched Clark play since Clark was in 8th grade and called a handful of Clark's Iowa games in college. White recently spoke with former NBA assistant coach Brendan Soar about how she plans to help Clark develop her game and gave a thoughtful answer on her approach to coaching the young superstar. "First and foremost, just talking basketball," White said on the Coaching You podcast. "Just having general basketball conversations about what she's watching, what she likes, what are some of her thoughts from not just what the Indiana Fever have done, but from the game of basketball in general. My first conversation with her about X's and O's the other day, I was just like, how do you want to improve? What are some of the things you want to improve on? And then we'll talk about how we want to do that. I talked to her about how we can use her to help her be more efficient, help her be more effective, to help our team be better in general." She's a great player, she's a high IQ player, she's adjusted really quickly to this league, and now it's about becoming not just a great player, but becoming a great leader for this team. So that we can win not just a championship, but championships, continued White. That last line will have Fever fans running through a wall. White added that she's maintained great relationships and had multiple conversations with Clark's college coaches throughout her career. The Fever got their first taste of playoff action this past year after Clark helped Indiana, 20-20, clinch a postseason berth for the first time since 2016. Chances are fans won't have to wait that long for another shot at the WNBA title with White at the helm and Clark continuing to flash her brilliance on the court. There has been a lot of talk surrounding Kelsey Mitchell's future with the Indiana Fever. The team has already indicated that retaining the services of the two-time All-Star is one of their top priorities in the off-season as Mitchell enters unrestricted free agency. She's not the only player at risk of leaving Indiana, though. Starting center Nalyssa Smith has also been rumored to be weighing her future with the Fever, especially after her post at the end of the 2024 season went viral, as fans interpreted it as a farewell message. On Monday, Smith took to social media again as she posted another cryptic statement, one that has once again piqued the interest of Fever fans everywhere. "Life is all about knowing your worth, don't stay nowhere you're not wanted and appreciated," posted the 24-year-old. There's no way to tell if Smith's post has anything to do with her situation in Indiana. After all, she could be dealing with something in her personal life that isn't at all connected to basketball. Be that as it may, Fever fans were quick to react to the recent statement from Smith, who is currently playing in China for the off-season, and the fact of the matter is that most of them aren't too pleased with all this. "I hope she'll go where she's appreciated, cause we don't appreciate toxic players at Fever," a reaction on X read. Nalyssa Smith is getting traded, or some deal with the Valkyries to take her in the expansion draft in exchange for someone they pick, declared a user. Addition by subtraction. "Worst defender on the team and it isn't even close," surmised another. "Stuff like this is exactly why they should leave her unprotected, and let her go. She doesn't want to stay, and no one wants the drama she brings," commented a reader. "Nothing cryptic about this, she wants out and we don't want her back. Not sure what's the holdup, but she doesn't have the motion for those kinds of things," stated a Fever fan. Nalyssa Smith, "See what I mean? Drama. Show by your play that you belong. Stop the drama, it only makes anyone's case not worth dealing with drama that affects the whole team," reacted another. For what it's worth, Smith is still under contract with the Fever until 2025. However, it is still possible that Indiana opts to trade her in the off-season if the front office deems it necessary. It is also worth noting that based on the WNBA's new rules surrounding the expansion draft, all teams are required to designate 6 protected players on their roster. Any player who is not on the protected list will be available for selection by the Golden State Valkyries, which will play their inaugural season in 2025. At this point, it is clear that more than a few Fever fans won't mind if Smith ends up with the Valkyries next year, or with any other team, for that matter.